How is everyone? Go ahead as you guys pop in and say your name and where you're from. Hi, Ingrid. Awesome. I was going to do this at 2 o'clock, but then when I popped on Periscope, I saw that Melanie Wilson was on, and I wanted to pop in on her scope. So I'm a few minutes late. Ingrid from New Orleans. Awesome. We have 2 Ingrids today. Fantastic. Well, I hope that you all have something warm to drink, like me, some coffee or tea, and Sonlight questions. Hopefully you guys have a whole bunch ready. My name is Melissa. I'm a homeschool mom of 4, homeschool girl turned homeschool mom, and I blog over at soaringarrowshs.com. Here we go. And you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. My Facebook page is Soaring Arrows, and my Twitter and Instagram handles are Soaring Arrows HS. So feel free to follow me or come like my Facebook page or subscribe to my blog. I haven't been able to update my blog very much over the last week because my family has been fighting the flu. So we're all finally on the mend and getting better. So hopefully in the next few days I can start writing a little bit more. But I've taken the last week to focus on my kids and myself and getting healed up and recovered. So finally we're all starting to feel better. So awesome. Well, before we chat Sonlight, I wanted to just talk about Grammar Galaxy, which I know a lot of people are hearing about. But we got our books on Saturday, so we're a little bit behind everyone. And I was not even planning on opening the books we didn't get them Saturday, we got them yesterday. So I wasn't even planning on touching them until next week when everyone's starting to feel better. But I've learned this little tip from both Sonlight and Brave Writer has talked about. If you just take the books, the school books, and put them on your coffee table or just out in the room and don't even talk to your kids about them, you just kind of put them out there like untouchable candy, that they will want to look at them. And I have found that to be so true. So in Sonlight, you'll get your box and you have box day. And so you unpack the box and you look at all the books. Well, then what I do is I pack them all back up because sometimes we get the books in June, but then I'll pack them up for the summer so that when we bring them back out in September, it's new and exciting and they haven't been looking at the books all summer long because, by then it's ordinary and kind of boring. So yesterday I just put the Grammar Galaxy books on our table and didn't really even mention the books, and by this morning my kids were sitting on the couch resting, and next thing I know, they're bringing me the Grammar Galaxy book and wanting me to read it. So even though they're sick, they wanted to do the first day today. That was the only school we did today. So here is the teacher's book, Grammar Galaxy. So one lesson in, and I already cannot believe how amazing this is. I would not say that if I were not 100% meaning it. Hi Darcy. If anyone else new has popped on, go ahead and just say your name and where you're from, so that we can start to kind of get an idea of who's here. So the first day today, we read about the English family and their being guardians of the galaxy and needing to save the galaxy from the evil gremlin who is trying to destroy the English language. And my kids I haven't seen them sit and listen that well to something in a while. And that's saying a lot because usually they listen pretty good to our school books, but they were loving it. So then their first activity they did today is they just wrote down 3 of their favorite books. They had so much fun coming up with their 3 favorites. I mean, this is cool. So you can see, and then they drew pictures of their favorite stories. So that was really cool because we are already most of the way through our school year. So they had a whole bunch of favorites to write down. So my daughter wrote The School Story, which if none of you have read that, that is an awesome book. Little House in the Big Woods, and Strawberry Girl. So that was a lot of fun. They had fun with that. And then also to circle some book categories that are books they're interested in reading. So they had a lot of fun with that. And they drew some pictures for that one too. And I could tell that it kind of, progressively dives into the deeper language arts stuff, which is cool. It's starting off with the fun stuff, and then you'll dive into the harder stuff a little bit later. I love that. How perfect. So then they made a list of their favorite movies, and it talked about how books and stories sometimes coincide with each other. So sometimes a great movie comes from a good book first. I really appreciated pointing that out because, a lot of times we'll, end up just watching the movie and skipping the book. But I'm kind of a book snob about that, to a fault, where I'm the one that sits there and goes, we can't watch that movie yet, we haven't read the book, so we have to wait. And sometimes my husband's just like, no, we're just going to watch the movie this time. We can read the book later. Yeah, you too? Yeah, so sometimes I have to just relax, but usually the book is better, and if you read the book first, then you have those pictures in your mind before you watch the movie, right? So yeah, we so far have absolutely loved this. So if you're looking at language arts curriculum for next year, or if you school year round, this has been awesome. I have looked for years for a good language arts curriculum and have really struggled to find one that will capture their attention, keep them interested, and teach them the important things that they need to know all at the same time. It got to the point this school year where I was just like, whatever. We're just going to get what we get out of the stories we're reading and talk about vocabulary as we go, and that's all we're going to do. But I'm really excited about this. So, does anyone have any Sonlight questions? Last week I scoped on the preschool core and core A, but we've also done core C, and next year we're going to do core D, the American history, the first year for that. So we're really looking forward to doing that one. A very strong reader and a new 5-year-old, would Grammar Galaxy be good for both? Might be a little bit too difficult for the 5-year-old, but you really could ask a lot of the questions and just let him verbally tell you, and then you can write the stuff down. But I am doing it with my 8-year-old and my 6-year-old, and I can tell some of it's going to be a little challenging for my 6-year-old. But today, even he wrote most of the names of books, and it was actually kind of cool because he was going to the bookshelf, grabbing his books, and copying the words because obviously they're words that are going to be way too hard for him to spell out. Hi, Jamie. Welcome. So what awesome practice for him to go grab his books, and even some of the movies, he was running to go get the movie covers, and then he was writing down the names. So that was kind of cool, but it depends on how strong of a writer your 5-year-old is. That's what I would say. So does anyone else have any other questions? I did realize too that I didn't talk super in depth last time with the information guide. Oh, that's okay, Darcy. No problem. The information guide and really how deeply it goes into vocabulary and discussion questions. Oh, for a strong reader, yes. For Grammar Galaxy, I think it would be really good. Definitely. I read the teacher's guide. I read that part to them first, and then there's a part inside that they can read. They read their mission before they start the actual work in the workbook. So that's kind of cool because then it's me reading, and I'm reading a decent part of it, but then we're not quite, well, I'm just waiting for Sonlight questions. I just finished talking about Grammar Galaxy. But if anyone does have Sonlight questions, go ahead and start throwing them up there. So, but yeah, so it's giving me the chance to read the bulk of it, and then it's giving them a little portion to read themselves in their own workbooks. So, yeah, Jamie, we did the first one today. So far, my kids love it. They asked to do it. They did. I didn't even tell them, okay, we're going to sit down and do Grammar Galaxy. They're all, they're a lot better from having the flu, but they're still really tired. So today I was like, we're not going to do any school, but we did that because they asked to do it. That is how much they wanted to check it out. So, does anyone have any more questions, especially about Grammar Galaxy? I'm probably going to write on my blog about Grammar Galaxy in the next few weeks. Yeah, hi, Forrest. It is great. It is great. I'm really excited that they're excited about it. I was saying earlier, I've never been able to find a really good language arts curriculum that really holds their attention. It's, mostly really a lot of dry stuff. Oh, that's okay. I totally understand. Being distracted. Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be feeling better, too. That was pretty much the worst flu we've ever had. So I'm really looking forward to our family being back to normal. It's funny, too, because, of course, at the same time, we're getting ready to have a garage sale in a couple weeks. So on top of everybody being sick, I am like, our house is literally in complete upheaval right now. Like, we have boxes everywhere with stuff to sell, bins of clothes out that I'm trying to reorganize. It is crazy here. Normally, I have a pretty picked up house. Usually the kids are helping quite a lot, but the last few weeks have been very challenging for me to let it go, as Elsa would say. And not worry about all of the mess and all of the clutter. I mean, you guys know how it is. If mom is in bed for 2 days, and my husband helped a lot, but there is just no way to keep up with mom in bed for 2 days. Like, I came back from the dead on Sunday morning, and I came downstairs, and I'm just like, oh my word, how am I going to ever catch up from this? All right, Sonlight, when you do not like a book or do not want to read a particular book in a core. Okay, so, yeah, they are tough shoes to fill, even for an amazing husband. So what do? I honestly have almost never skipped a book because we don't like it. I know some people are like, oh, if you get into the book and you don't like it, just go to the next one. Well, honestly, we've started off with some books like that. A few I can think of are Wheel in the School and Red Sails to Capri, which started off really slow, but at the end, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad we kept going, because they turned out to be some of the best books that we have ever read from Sonlight. So I really learned to persevere and just keep reading, and usually those, like I said, they turn out to be some of the very best books. So occasionally we'll fall just behind on reading the books, and for that reason I might take a few books out. Yes, the endings, usually those are the books that I am like crying at the end. They're so, so good. So I've learned to just push through the books that start off slow because they usually are really good finishers. So that's been my experience. Winnie the Pooh is probably the only exception that, yes, they do have the best book list. Winnie the Pooh is the one exception that I'll be doing it again in Core A this following school year, and I might do it on audiobook because it was just a hard book to read out loud. There's so much conversation happening between the characters in the story. When you're reading it to yourself, you can, make sense of who is talking now, and oh, you still haven't looked at the catalog. Oh my goodness. Mine is already like marked up, and yeah, I'm loving it. So Winnie the Pooh we might get on audiobook this year because it's obviously a great story. It's just hard to read out loud. So, and I would hate to skip it. Farmer Boy is like that. Hard to read out loud. My daughter is reading that to herself right now, and she's really enjoying it. Because these some books that you read yourself are just difficult to read out loud, but it's not that the story isn't good. It's just maybe it's the dialogue happening or something like that. So yeah, audiobooks, I'm learning to use those a little bit more. So, Winnie the Pooh, prepare yourself. Tough read aloud book. Yeah, and it's a great story. It's just the dialogue is very difficult to keep track of the characters and who's talking. So yeah. Any other questions? Oh, it's audio. Yeah. Well, that'll be great. On audio, perfect. We've been listening to the Ramona Quimby books on audio, which I ended up not finishing it. See, yep. Yeah, which I totally understand. I wanted to not finish it. Love the Ramona books, but I kind of hate the audio one that we downloaded from Audible. The voice of Ramona on it is really kind of bratty. So, like when you're reading it, you can make it sound however you want. And the person who's reading it just, yeah, I don't love it, but oh well. Oh, they are MP3 at the library with only the book. Play always rock. Okay, so maybe check that out. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Any other questions? Jamie, did I answer your question 100%? I feel like I kind of went on a rabbit trail there. But we've definitely learned to persevere through those books because they're really good. Okay, awesome. Any other questions? I'm just gonna drink my coffee, wait for another question. Not that I'm an expert, but just going through one core at a time. You guys got to check out these Starbucks mugs. So for wherever you live, go to your local Starbucks. Yeah, you're in Michigan too. That's right. So yeah, the Michigan mug is so cool. Picked it up this week. It's got the Mackinac Bridge, lighthouse. Awesome. Do I supplement cores? And what cores so far? Okay, so the cores I've done so far are oh, that's right. You're from Michigan too. A whole lot of ag guides, projects. Okay. So I've done the preschool core. I've done the pre-kindergarten core. Last year we did that one with my January birthday child. I sold that one because I'll never have to do it again. All of my other kids have summer birthdays, so that makes things a lot easier. We just skip pre-K then. So I've done core A, B, and C, and then next year we're going to do D. So those are the cores that I've done so far. And then as far as supplementing goes, so we use Sonlight for history, geography, and we've used it for Bible before. Next year, we're going to change that. So, and I'm probably going to do a scope on that maybe in a couple of weeks about I'm so excited for Core D. I have been waiting for Core D for like 2 years since I saw those books. I'm like, oh my gosh, that one's going to be awesome. So we're looking forward to it. But this year I'm going to scope in a couple weeks about kind of like, okay, how I analyzed this past school year and then what we're going to change going forward. Part of that is based on the fact that I'm going to have 3 kids in math this year, this next school year. And so I needed to start taking a look at how much time can I actually devote to doing 100% of the teaching for each subject. Because most of my kids are still not very independent, which is fine, but then you have to really evaluate and figure out, okay, how much time do I have to devote to teaching each individual kid their math lesson, or each individual kid their reading lesson, or whatever. So I really got my next year all planned out. So what I supplement to Sonlight, this is going to be for next year, is Bible. So next year I'm not going to do, oh, thank you. They're kind of starting to chip away, but I did them myself. Yay. Frugal nails. So next year I'm going to be doing the apologetics series for Bible for all my kids. So I'm not going to do a separate, this year I was doing the Sonlight Bible with my third grader, and then I was doing a separate Bible during morning time for my 6-year-old and my 4-year-old. So next year I'm going to try to combine as much as possible for as many subjects as I can. So we supplemented, or we're going to supplement with that. This year I really didn't do a ton of supplementing because Sonlight really was pretty much covering everything. I used Saxon for math, which is very teacher heavy, but it's really, really good. I love Saxon math, but we're going to be making a change on that next year, not for all my kids, but for my oldest. Because I want to start, I actually don't use the tip CD. I don't. I have never even opened it. It could be amazing. It really could, but I have never even looked at it. You know, Jamie, right? It's tough sometimes teaching with little ones in the house. We get lots of interruptions. So I've done quite a few of the science experiments with the science because it just seems like a lot of those are really help them make the connections when they're reading the science. And we even do that sometimes at the expense of like seeing how much we can get through. You know, it's like, okay, even if it takes us twice as long to go through it, let's just go through it well, you know? And then, yes, and a lot of the books are the Usborne linked, so you can go to those links on the Usborne website and it'll bring you right to the videos for what you are learning. So we did do a lot of that as far as supplementation this year, because that's easy. And that'll even captivate the attention of a toddler, you know, if you turn on a video about, you know, eagles or whatever you're watching or learning about. So we did do that. I do not even necessarily do all of the discussion questions. So when we're doing the history, I might just ask a lot of questions, because the more you do it, the more you kind of know where they're going to go with it anyway. A lot of times I'll make up my own questions. You narrate, yep, so have them kind of, you know, say what you read back to you. A lot of times I'll go back to the questions later and I'm like, oh, I actually came up with that question. That was their question, but I just thought of it without even looking. So, and I do look at the vocabulary, because a lot of times they'll take the vocabulary from the stories you're reading, and then it'll say what the words mean. So as you're reading, when you come across those difficult words, then you can kind of, you know, explain what they mean as you're going. So that's really helpful. I feel like our kids' vocabulary has really grown a lot since, we've been using Sonlight the whole time, but I even think having a delayed reader helps with that. My third grader really struggled with reading, but then I read out loud so much to her that it felt like by the time she was reading, she had been exposed to so many, she just has a richer vocabulary because she had been exposed to a lot more difficult literature than she would have been if she were just reading, you know, Frog and Toad, you know, and me not really doing a lot more with her. So, not that there's anything wrong with Frog and Toad. We love Frog and Toad. But yeah, I feel like her almost being behind in that kind of put her ahead in other areas. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what else we've added on artistic pursuits too for art. My oldest daughter loves art, and that has been really, really awesome this year. It's about as expensive to add on the art kit that comes along with a book as it is to buy a science, like the science kits that come with all the experiment things. But I didn't buy it that way. You can order it through Rainbow Resources for each artistic pursuits book. That could be a separate scope all in and of itself. But I would just wait for things to go on sale at Hobby Lobby, and then I would go buy them with 50% off coupons or Michaels, because it really uses the high quality art stuff to teach it. But it uses pictures, and then you study the picture, and then it has questions, and you kind of learn about the period of time it's in. Then you do an art project, and it's like using oil, you know, the oils, the oil paint, and then using the watercolor crayons. So use watercolor crayon. Please do a scope on that. Okay, I'll do that, because again, I don't worry about like, okay, we got to get through this whole book this year. I'm just like easy going about it. So we're going to do art this year, but we're just going to go through it at our own pace. So even if we do 2 art lessons a month, or 4, sometimes we've done 4, but sometimes we might only get through 2 a month. But the art that we're doing is so good that I'm just okay with it. And maybe it'll take 2 years to get through one book, but when you look at what the kind of art that they're learning, it's so good. Yeah, go slow. Really let them dig into it and really, really learn it. Last week, the project we did for art was like, we're gonna, use pictures, so photographs, and then we're gonna paint the photographs. But we used photographs of animals. Okay, good, awesome. Bye. And then they used the watercolor crayons, and we painted them. But we really went deep with it. We got out our animal books, and we read about the animals that we wanted to paint, and I let them slowly choose each animal. And so just trying to kind of teach as much as you can in one subject. So yeah, we added art. What else did we add? I'm like looking over at our school shelf. We do definitely, for the geography, do all the marks on the map. So as we're reading, you go through the geography and you look at we don't always do it on the markable map, but we definitely always go to the globe that we have in the schoolroom. Or we'll use the map that comes inside the information guide to look at, okay, where in the world are we reading about? So that was really cool. Did that answer your question, Jamie? I feel like, yeah, that in and of itself could be like a whole entire scope. What do you add to Sonlight? We did awesome. We did explode the code for phonics, and my kids can't get enough of that. So yeah, that was really good. I added some workbooks for my preschooler this year too, just because she loves workbooks. It's funny because I'm a total Charlotte Mason nut, and it's like, of course, if you're a Charlotte Mason nut, you're going to end up with one kid who loves workbooks. Yes, of course. But I'm good with it. Whatever. Whatever works. Do I supplement a lot to history? Yeah. It's hilarious. She is also my wild little girl. Like, she is totally like her dad in every way, right down to like not ever wanting to wear her socks in the house and shedding them the instant she would come in from outside. We laugh over her. She's just completely like her daddy. So supplementing a lot to history, I really don't supplement to the history at all, because it's so rich in and of itself that I find just getting through the history every day is more than enough. History is the one. We do history every single day. Otherwise, we just do fall too behind on it. I always want to get through at least one core a year, so I try not to stretch that out very much. But it's the art that I will stretch out, a little more. Even science, I don't really worry about if we get through, the whole science in 1 year. I just don't worry too much about that. So, any other questions? Oh, okay. We'll see you later, Jamie. Awesome. Awesome. Well, if anyone else has more questions, go ahead and just pop them on. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to show part of the information guide. And if anyone has to go, just go ahead and you can catch it on the replay later. I just didn't want to go without showing some of the parts of the information guide. Okay, so during Core C this year, we read Robin Hood. And there were a lot of vocabulary questions that were, not vocabulary questions, but a lot of vocabulary added for Robin Hood, because there's a lot in there. So there, you can kind of see it. All of the vocabulary words, and then you can see the questions. it says describe when Robin rescues Marion. So that's really getting kids to narrate, like Jamie said earlier, narrate the story back to you. They're not all that much, they're not all that simple. Some of the questions are really reflective of making you think about, maybe the character in the story and where they're coming from. And then you can see here, there's a part, we did Aesop's Fables this year. So right there, it's telling you to mark on the map, Mount Olympus. So you can kind of see that with the geography part. Sometimes you might do more than one thing for one story. I mean, some of these stories in one chapter might take you to, 3 or 4 different parts of the world. And they really have you go through every single part, which is really, really great. So, well, I think that's about it. I think we're good, unless anyone has anything else. Hopefully it was helpful. And, yeah, so thanks for joining me today. Like I said earlier, I'm blogging over at soaringarrowshs.com, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at soaringarrowshs. And I have a Facebook page too, so if anyone wants to go like my Facebook page, then whenever I blog about something or scope about something, then you will be notified. So thanks so much for joining today. Thanks too for I've been getting a few questions through email from people, and really, if you guys think of any more questions later and you want to shoot me an email or send me a Facebook message, that would be great. I just want to help people. A lot of people feel overwhelmed with Sonlight. They feel like it's just so, some people are just even confused by the cores and, okay, how does that work and how do you add on to that? And I know it can be overwhelming when you first start looking at a curriculum, just even figuring out how it works. So if anybody has questions, I am more than happy to answer them. So yeah. Well, thanks again, and I forgot to mention, I'm a member of homeschoolscopes.tv, so if anyone wants to become a part of that community, go check it out. It's awesome. And also, go check out the 31 Reasons We Love Homeschool blog party. Anna Willis has been doing an awesome job heading that up. There has been an awesome post every day from another homeschool mom, another awesome reason. On Saturday, it's my turn, so I've been working on that this week. So go to theycallmeblessed.org. Yeah, so go check that out, theycallmeblessed.org. Or go to the Facebook page. There's a Facebook page, and you can go check that out, and then she'll share out the post every single morning. So awesome. Well, have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you guys later.